Rise of the Planet of the Apes is directed by Rupert Riot, and it is a reboot of the entire Planet of the Apes film series, and it stars James Franco, Frida Pinto, John Lithgow, Brian Cox, Tom Felton, and Andy Serkis. And in this film, Caesar, portrayed by Andy Serkis, is a chimpanzee genetically enhanced and raised by chemist Will Rodman, portrayed by James Franco, who goes from living in captivity to eventually leading an ape uprising against humanity. So, development for this film first entered way back in 2006, 5 years after Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes remake. Go ahead and check out my review for that. When Jaffa and Silver wrote a spec script and sold it to 20th Century Fox, the producer and distributors of the original film series, just in case you were wondering who those names that I mentioned. But yeah, production struggled. It went into development hell until um late 2009, when James Franco, Andy Serkis, and director Rupert Riot um were were brought on board and hired and to be part of this film. So yeah, the apes were created using extensive visual effects and performance capture or motion captured. So yeah, like Andy Serkis, I love Andy Serkis, and Andy Serkis went from doing the motion capture for Gollum, and then like several years later, he would go on and do motion capture for Caesar in this rebooted Planet of the Apes film series. And first of all, I love Andy Serkis. He's amazing. He's amazing. When I think about Andy Serkis, two things come into mind. Not really Alfred Pennyworth in the recent Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman movie, but more, Gollum and Caesar when I think of Andy Serkis. But yeah, like this film used a lot of motion capture for some of the apes, if not like all of them. Or I don't really know how it goes, but like it looks amazing. Incredible CGI motion capture on the apes for this movie came out in 2011. Um, but actually, hang on, ladies and gentlemen, hang on. Okay. So the first Avatar movie came out in 2009, 2 years before this film, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And you guys know everything about Avatar. Like Avatar was groundbreaking when it came to the motion capture and the visual effects. It just looks gorgeous. It's like it's like we had we had this technology this whole time and we didn't know, but we never used it to its full extent until James Cameron came on board and directed and written and produced the Avatar movie. But yeah, it's right up there. Like the CGI and the motion capture of the apes look so great as the effects that were used in James Cameron's Avatar movies, and it looks amazing. Andy Serkis was great as the primary ape, the protagonist of this film and of this franchise, of this new rebooted franchise, starting with Rise and then Dawn, War, and then Kingdom. Caesar went from a socially distant chimpanzee in the beginning of this film, and then through character development, and relatability, and just making us care about the character of Caesar, he transformed into a fearless, intelligent ape that one can humanize. And I really did. I really humanized a lot with Caesar. Like, I wanted him to kick the shit out of Tom Felton in this film. But yeah, it really does show like the origin story of how the apes are intelligent, which was never before seen in the original novel, from what I heard, from what I read, from an article, like of how closely, the original films and like the novels and everything. But yeah, but yeah, it explores the origin story of how the apes are intelligent, and that's a great fun fact to know about and to learn, and I like that. But yeah, great performances also by the human characters, especially James Franco. He really does have this human connection. I mean, he is playing a human, but like he has this connection with Caesar, and it's so touching and so, relatable. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, David Oyelowo was great as always, including Frida and John and all the other actors in this film. But yeah, there are some amazing action sequences as well. A cool, nice little soundtrack, sure. And great callbacks from the original films. Like, take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. Um, which was a line from the original film series, if you remember. Um, and by the way, the scene where Caesar says no is the best, like, holy shit moment for me in the entire movie. I remember, like, this is the second time. This is not my first time. This is my second time rewatching Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I'm rewatching the whole rebooted. I'm watching all of the Planet of the Apes, um, the entire franchise in chronological order. The original films, the original like older films, the Tim Burton remake, and now here I am with the rebooted franchise. I've made it this far, but yeah, when he said no, the first time I saw this movie, I had like chills, which was like back in 2017. I had chills. I had goosebumps, like little goosebumps and chills when he said no, when he yelled it out. And Andy Serkis, oh, again, amazing, amazing performance. Even though like you're seeing an ape, you you feel Andy Serkis's like his presence and his portrayal of Caesar. You know, yeah, and the movie does end on a cliffhanger where the apes escape and the flu travels through the world, setting up sequels and I think pretty much the entire franchise of this rebooted Planet of the Apes. I will say I only have one issue. I only have one complaint with this film is that Stephen Jacobs. I thought he was the weakest villain in the whole franchise, especially compared to every other villain that preceded him, most notably Koba, for example, in the sequel Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I just didn't like Steven as a character, and especially if you compare him to the other villains in the rest of the franchise. But yeah, that's it. That's my one big complaint. I love this movie. This movie is great. It's great and it's amazing, and I can't believe how flawless and perfect the CGI and the visual effects and the performance capture looks, especially for 2011. Great job. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say for Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time to listen to my review, my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe because that would help me out by a lot. And I, excuse me, and I appreciate that. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.